Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Loki Season 2 is coming later this year. We've gotten a couple of teaser trailers, and we just got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, learning how Marvel and Sony are connecting a lot of the larger characters from different studios, like different story cinematic universes together, heading up to Avengers 6 Secret Wars. A lot of the movie is dedicated to connecting things with the traditional MCU Marvel movies, the Sony Spider-Man movies, the Fox Marvel movies. Pretty much everything is being connected through what was happening in the Spider-Verse and what's happening during the Loki series. Especially what's happening with the TVA and their hunt for all the different Kangs and the Council of Kangs just in general. So if you're brand new to the channel, I'll be doing weekly episode videos for Loki Season 2 like I did for Season 1, so be sure to subscribe to get everything. And of course, the next part of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is called Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, will release in March 2024, so we don't have to wait that long to get it. We'll start getting some teaser trailers for that pretty soon too. Careful for spoilers for Across the Spider-Verse if you haven't seen it yet, just because we do need to talk about everything that happens during the movie. But during the movie, Spider-Man 2099 reveals that he's created his own version of the TVA, basically with alternate versions of Spider-Man from different universes, trying to protect what he calls the canon of Spider-Man, basically his word for describing a sacred timeline. The same way that He Who Remains Kang called his own timeline the sacred timeline. The Spider-Verse canon timeline, as he shows Miles here, looks exactly the same way that they depict the timeline during the Loki series. That's not meant to be a coincidence, that's on purpose.
This is everything. They are the canon. Chapters that are a part of every Spider story, every time.
In this version of their sacred timeline, every version of Spider-Man is meant to have a version of a tragic backstory with someone close to them dying from the classic comics, or in the case of Spider-Gwen, a small twist on that, where instead of an Uncle Ben or a Captain Stacy, it's a Peter Parker who became the Lizard instead of Kirk Connors dying, giving them all their origin story so that they become versions of Spider-Man. Using Loki and the TVA's way of describing this, the circumstances of Miles Morales' origin story make his spider bite a Nexus event.
Whatever it was, stepping off your path created a Nexus event, which left unchecked could branch off into madness, leading to another multiversal war.
Before they learn the truth during Loki Season 1, the TVA believes that Nexus events left unchecked, left unpruned, will cause the collapse of the multiverse. The truth that they wind up learning was that that was a lie. He Who Remains Kang revealed that Nexus events were simply what he called timelines that branched out and led to the creation or led to the rise of dangerous Kang variants. Spider-Man 2099 is operating the same way that the TVA, like Mobius, those characters were before they learned the truth. During the movie, they talk about the term Spider-Verse, the web of life and destiny. Miles Morales in the movie coins the term Spider-Verse, but it's just a way of describing the cosmic connections between universes. In Spider-Man 2099 incorrectly believes that things have to play out a certain way, otherwise it will lead to the destruction of all reality. Just like the TVA characters before the events of Loki Season 1. During the movie, he uses his history trying to move to the alternate universe where his family was still alive and assume the identity of that universe's version of Miguel. When that universe collapses, he incorrectly assumes it's because of what he did trying to exist in the alternate universe where he wasn't originally supposed to be. But again, he's making a false assumption because he doesn't know anything about the Council of Kangs, the Kang Multiverse War, the Incursions, and the new Kang Multiverse War that's coming in Avengers 5, Kang Dynasty, with the Dynasty of Kangs, the Council of Kangs, waging war against all the Avengers, anyone else from the multiverse that actually challenges them. So Spider-Man 2099 didn't accidentally destroy that alternate universe himself because of what he was doing. It was destroyed because the Council of Kangs destroyed it. The Council of Kangs does pretty much a version of what He Who Remains Kang did before he was killed. They try to prevent timelines from rising up that could propagate something or someone capable of challenging them. Which is why during the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania post-credit scene, the Council of Kangs is witnessing all the things that happened in the last couple of Marvel movies with the Incursions in the multiverse. They decide that the MCU universe has become a threat in some similar universes, and they decide to move against them, like it's time to destroy their timeline. Spider-Man 2099 hasn't learned the truth yet, so he's still acting the way that Mobius, the TVA, did before they learned the truth, trying to protect what he believes the sacred timeline to be, even though that's a lie. Even though Miles Morales and the other characters haven't learned about the Council of Kangs yet, as far as we know, things can be very different. Miles Morales is like one of those alternate Lokis that we meet who are bigger variants on the theme of the original character. They only got pruned because they came from timelines where dangerous Kangs rose up. It wasn't because there was something wrong with them on a cosmic level. During the movie, Spider-Gwen proves the theory when she changes events in her universe, causing her father, Captain Stacy, to quit his job, meaning that he ultimately won't be killed in the line of duty like all the other Captain Stacys of the multiverse. And why Miles Morales won't cause all of reality to collapse just by saving his father's life from the Spot, who does now have the ability to alter the multiverse on a cosmic level, so the Spot has become a multiverse threat now. But Miles Morales is a lot like the new version of Loki in that way. He's a variant who originally was going to be pruned, and in reality, there's nothing wrong with him existing. They won't cause the collapse of their universes by changing things. The real threat to all of reality is the Spot, who absorbed all that dark matter. Now he has the power to alter all of reality. He's kind of like the Beyonders during the more recent Secret Wars event, where they forcibly start destroying the multiverse because they think it sucks, which is what the Spot is doing at the end of the movie. I'm going to change all this, I'm going to destroy it because this sucks. Normally, the TVA would prune someone like the Spot immediately. The reason why it seems like he's running around unchecked is just because of the events of Loki Season 2. During Loki Season 2, the new Kang variant who creates and manages the TVA, this guy here, isn't supposed to be around. Like, it's supposed to be a big mystery when Season 2 picks up. What's going on? Where is he? When really what happened is that he was called to the Council of Kangs to help with their new Kang multiverse war against the Avengers, the other timelines and universes that threatened their supremacy. So it's like the boss is away at an important meeting long-term, leaving the mid-level managers like Mobius, the others, to mind the store, and Loki, who's the only person besides Sylvie who remembers that previous version of the timeline and what's really going on with the Council of Kangs, basically has to recap the events of Season 1 to all these characters like Mobius, so they can start going after the real threats to the stability of the multiverse, all the different Kangs, the Council of Kangs, basically. Enter that Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania post-credit scene where they're going after the Victor Timely Kang. That's literally meant to be a scene taken from Loki Season 2. I don't know which episode, but it feels like, just based on the tone, it's from earlier in the season. Jonathan Majors is supposed to be in multiple episodes as different Kang variants. It won't just be Victor Timely Kang. I know there's tons of questions about what's happening with him just in general. They're supposed to have changed the post-credit scene for Loki Season 2 that will explain a lot of that. So it'll be a couple more months, but we'll find out what's going on with that pretty soon. But the idea is that the next part of the story for the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man 2099 will finally learn the truth about what causes universes to collapse, and realize that Miles Morales is totally fine existing and changing things the way that he was talking about, like saving his father's life, just like the new Loki variant is fine existing and messing with stuff. The other major connection between what's happening in Loki Season 2 and the Spider-Verse movies is that they're using Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in the next part of the story to literally connect all those characters to the MCU live-action stuff in preparation for Avengers 6 Secret Wars, where there'll be a ton of multiverse cameo scenes. That's why they blend in so many live-action elements and crossovers to the movie, like the Doctor Strange, Tom Holland Spider-Man No Way Home references, the live-action Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man scenes. We know that both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will come back in Secret Wars, and if they weren't going to connect all these characters together eventually in a much bigger crossover, there'd be no reason for mixing in live-action elements. They would have animated Tobey Maguire, they would have animated Andrew Garfield.
Don't even get me started on Doctor Strange and the little nerd back on Earth 1999.
Technically, everyone that knew that I was Spider-Man before should still know! Did it work?
Really early theory, too. During Secret Wars, in place of the Thor core, they'll use the Spider Force, like a bunch of versions of Spider-Man fighting on screen. They'll just give a couple of them, like the main versions, speaking lines. As part of all this, do not be surprised if there are bigger live-action cameo scenes in Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse from Tobey Maguire, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, just sort of confirming that they're moving things along, like, oh yeah, you're actually showing up in the movie because there's going to be a much bigger crossover coming in a couple years in Secret Wars. Just like they say during the movie, everything is connected, literally everything is connected. If you have any other questions about how all this connects with the Loki Season 2 episodes, the Council of Kangs, and the Spider-Verse stuff, let me know in the comments. I've got a bunch more videos planned, and we will get a Loki Season 2 trailer pretty soon, too. Be sure to enable alerts for my channel so you don't miss that. Couple more weeks, and we'll get Secret Invasion episodes, too. Everyone click here for my full Easter eggs video for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. There are so many of them, and click here for my post-credit scene and ending video for the movie. Thank you so much for watching. Everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.